What's good, fam? Agent O here with another action figure review, and today I have the Figma Guyver IIF. I actually picked up this figure off of Hobby Search. They had a bargain sale type deal going on sometime last month, and got this for a pretty good price. I honestly wasn't even going to do a review of this figure. I was just getting this for my collection because I do have Guyver 1, and I'm a big Guyver fan. If you watch that video, you'll see I'm a very big fan of the series and of the character designs and stuff. And it wasn't until I started messing with this figure that I started seeing some differences and some improvements and some things that were kind of lacking between the two figures. And so I just wanted to do a review kind of pointing out the differences that the two figures have and some of their articulation and their engineering. So here's the box. Whatever, who gives a damn? Let's review. So here she is. I'm just gonna adjust the camera real quick. And if you've seen Guyver, she follows all the same design elements that I love so much about the series. They did the way they did the body proportions. It's similar to the concept art where the legs are slightly longish and the torso is a little on the short side. Kind of really gets off that comic book aesthetic or that manga aesthetic that they go for in the books, and it's once again represented in action figure form. Colors are really good. They're cast in I want to say just in the purple, or I don't know what you want to call this. It's not purple, but magenta, I don't know, whatever. It's cast in this color. They added the black. It's all paint apps on there are good. They didn't add as much of the shadowing paint on the seams and on the grooves like they did Guyver 1. But it still looks good, and the light still bounces off of it pretty nicely. Paint apps there's very few. You've got paint here, you've got paint in the face, in the head, all on the head. There's paint application, and there's no slop whatsoever. It's applied pretty well. I've got really no problems with the construction of this figure and just how it looks in general. I really dig the eyes on this figure more than I do on Guyver 1. I think since they're bigger and they use something that reflects the light a lot better, so you get that glowing effect. If you can see with my camera, get a nice glowing effect there that I really like. One thing they did do different from Guyver 1 is with the fin on this figure. On Guyver 1, it's all one piece. In this one, it detaches from the head, I guess to avoid it getting broken. And it's also made out of a much more pliable plastic. It's not super soft, but it's enough to bend and give in case you accidentally apply pressure, it won't snap on you. I'm wondering if that was a problem with Guyver 1. I don't know, because I usually take good care of my toys, so I didn't have any issues with me accidentally breaking the dorsal fin, or I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, it's overall aesthetically, I really love the look of this figure, and I love that it matches the concept art to a T. So I want to move on to the articulation. It's if you've bought one figure, one Figma figure, then you kind of already know what you're getting into with the articulation. They have their Figma joint system, which is basically ball pegs everywhere. The head is on a ball joint. I didn't pull it off, but I'm just gonna guess it's a ball joint. She can't go up too high because of the back of the neck. The sculpting on the back of the neck prevents the head from moving up too far, but she can look down pretty far. And these I guess neck tubes aren't connected to the head, kind of like they were with Guyver 1. They're connected to the neck, and I think that actually works a lot better. But yeah, that's, you know, you're not gonna get that much higher with the head. Like, you know, it's not too bad, but it's not that great either. You can use the diaphragm joint to kind of make up for the lack of the looking up with the head. The shoulder pads, just like with Guyver 1, they're on a O-ring, and so they rotate with the arm, so there's no issues there. You only have issue with when you're raising the arm. This is about as high as you can get, because there isn't really that much give on that O-ring. But once again, that's not too bad. It's okay. Ball peg for the elbow. So you've got, it's not double jointed, but you do get that much bend before the sculpt gets in the way, which isn't too bad. You know, since it's a ball peg, you get rotation at the forearm, and once again, ball peg for the hands, so you get full 360-degree rotation and and some bending. Oh, that's okay. I'll just leave that off for now. And some bending at the wrist. Not too bad, not too great. It's about average. Like, you can't bend it too far, otherwise the hand pops off like you just saw. The torso, or the ab crunch, is on a ball peg, and there's a lot of play in this ab crunch. So much so that when you bend her back, you get all that gappage. I usually don't care about gappage, only because it's an action figure, and you know, if you want range of motion, you're gonna get gappage for the most part, and there's a lot in the back. I mean, her whole back is just open. You can see the ball peg, ball swivel or whatever inside the back. You can see the light reflecting off of it. But I mean, if you're gonna do many pictures from the back, I mean, I don't think you'd bend it that far. But I want to say that you have this much play. So, I mean, you can go side to side and all the way back, forward very far. I mean, you can go this far forward. You can go this far forward, and you can go this far back. So you get all that play. Mostly because there is no hip swivel, or there's no ball swivel in the hips. It's all one. This lower torso and pelvis is all one piece. So I think that's why you have so much play up here, is to make up for the no articulation on the hips. The Guyver 1 figure does have hip articulation as well as the torso articulation, and he doesn't go back and forth as far, but he does do pretty well, and it's when you combine the two, you get all the articulation you need in the midsection. Now, as for the legs, even though the thigh kind of rides high, it's not going to get in the way of these accent pieces. This accent piece is made out of a very, very flexible plastic. So, usually it's supposed to be on the outside, but you can bend it in, and she can get almost practically a full split. So, full side split, so you can do high kicks are no problem, and it doesn't look out of place or weird or whack. The thigh swivel is very high, and it's, you know, right up there at the ball joint, and it blends in pretty well. The cut blends in pretty well because of the sculpting of the musculature of the biosuit. So it doesn't, you can still see it, but it looks nice. It blends in pretty nicely. The knees, she bends at the knee that much. You would think there's some movement with this knee pad, but it's not enough. you kind of have to pull it down and then bend the knee, but it's not really enough to cover that Figma ball joint or ball peg. But it helps a little bit. It helps somewhat when you bend it, because you can see in the back of the leg. You see in the back of the leg, it's loose, so it's just a piece that's floating on in between the leg and the peg. So when you do bend it, you can pull the knee down, and you can help kind of cover up that ball, but not a whole lot. But despite all that, you still have pretty good range of motion overall in the legs, in the upper legs, in the hips and the knees. As for the feet, you can bend back that far. You can bend forward this far. She has the toe point, and she has some ankle rockage, which is actually pretty good considering the sculpt of the legs. You'd think that it would block the feet from being able to swivel like that, but it actually looks pretty. Actually, is pretty nice. So you can get some poses where you've got the feet at an angle, and it won't look off, and you can actually, if you're pretty good with your figures, you can balance the figure no problem without the use of a stand, just because you're able to firmly plant the feet flat on the ground with ease with this figure. So that's just some of the there's not a whole lot of difference between this and Guyver 1, but there is some. Like, I don't think Guyver 1 had the movable knee pads. The Guyver 1 definitely beats this one in the torso articulation department. And also with the accessories, she comes with about the same accessories that Guyver 1 comes with, minus the unit 1 in its dormant form that Shuu comes with, the Guyver 1 unit. These, like I saw earlier, these are the high frequency swords in their dormant form. When they're unsheathed and they're removable, you can see it's a special peg hole that they use, and this is it in its extended form, and it's actually pretty long, and you just pops in, and it holds pretty firmly in place. And I really dig it. I dig the look of it. I like how long they are. Like, she can really do some damage. She's gonna cut you up really good. Yeah, no complaints whatsoever with this. It's a pretty rigid plastic, and it is sharp on the ends. So, watch out for that, and be careful you don't accidentally break it. So I'll just remove that. She comes with 2 of those, of course. She also comes, the chest piece for her, the 2 chest pieces, they both are removable, like so. And I would say the chest is done better on this figure than on Guyver 1. Guyver 1, the 2 interchangeable chest pieces were kind of fit a little loose, and they would pop out rather easily. These fit in a lot better, and they hold a lot firmer. And she comes with the Mega Smasher attachment pieces, and I really dig these just because you can see, since the plastic covering the actual firing, organic firing orbs, I don't know what you want to call them, but they're actually kind of warp the sculpting on the inside of the dome, and it makes it look like there's fluid in there, kind of like how it looked in the anime and in the manga. These, unfortunately, are fixed, unlike with Guyver 1. That's the one thing I do like about the Guyver 1 better than this, is that the covering, the armor covering, is on like a ball joint on the Guyver 1, and it's not on these. It's just fixed open. But they attach pretty easily. You've got a peg piece. You got a peg that goes into the tubing, as well as peg hole in the chest, and they go on really easy. I have to finagle a bit with Unit 1 in order to get them open, but because these are fixed, it's harder because of the hand articulation. It's a little harder to get the hands in position to make it look like she's holding her chest open in order to fire off the Mega Smasher, like you see in the comics or in the OAV, depending on what you've watched or read. You can kind of with turning her at an angle and putting the hands as close as you can. When you have the splayed hands open, when you have the splayed hands on the arms, you can kind of fake it and make it look like she's doing it. But for the most part, you really can't get contact on the armor covering for the Mega Smasher, which is too bad. But you know, it is what it is. I still dig these. I still dig this. The overall look of it and everything. I still think it works really, really well, despite the fact that these are fixed and you can't move them. Other than that, though, I think they're pretty nice accessory pieces. I kind of wish this figure came with some more accessory parts, like the gravity ball that you see show fire in like episode 6, I think it is. I kind of wish she came with something like that. I just wish they came with more stuff. But you know, it's the Guyver, and pretty much everything that you see the Guyver in the Guyver is on the suit. So maybe if they came with some effect parts, like I don't know, like how there's a laser in the head. Maybe if there's an effect piece that, you know, translucent green effect piece that you can use to fire from the head, or you can pose it to make it look like it's firing from the head. Maybe some Mega Smasher blast effect. You know, that would have been cool if it came with the figure came with that. You know, just some things to make it so that, you know, you're only getting a couple things. And of course, you know, the Figma hands on the tree, you know, always got to big up these. But you know, you get these hands, you get the same kind of hands with like every Figma. You got your splayed hands, you got your open relax, you got your gripping hands, and you've got your fists that are, you know, already on the figure. You know, you always get those. Those always come standard, it seems, with every Figma. And you know, of course, you get the poly lunch bag and the stand, which, you know, granted, I love these. These should come with every toy that has accessories. But yeah, I just kind of wish there were some more effect pieces that you could use with this toy. But overall, though, I do like this. It'll be a good addition to your collection. If you're a fan of the Guyver, I would definitely pick this up. I mean, either version is fine. You'll probably find this one easier because this is the more mass-produced one, and than the bluish, purplish bluish version that's the special EX version or whatever. But once again, great figure, no problems. This figure is actually taller than Guyver 1, which was surprising. I've got some photos of that I'll show with size comparison, which is also cool. I don't know how tall she was in the manga, but I thought that was pretty interesting that there was definitely a size difference, and she was way taller than Shou. But overall, though, I'm pretty stoked about this figure. You know, it's going to do everything you see Guyver do in the comics and in the show. So definitely scoop this girl up. Can't wait for Guyver 3, Unit 3, Agito Makishima. I really can't wait for that figure. And I've already got it on pre-order, so I'm good to go. So this is gonna pretty much do it for this review. And I've got nothing else, so, you know, leave your comments, leave your criticisms, leave your congratulations, and hit that like and subscribe button if it so pleases you. And with that further ado, I'm out, and I'll catch you guys on the next review. I'm Agent O. Peace.